Hi everyone, and welcome to the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. My name is Adam Sykes, founder of SwiftCase, the professional productivity platform, and today I've got with me
Craig McCarthy, development manager of SwiftCase.
Yeah, Phil would be developer of SwiftCase.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about who wants to be a billionaire.
Not me.
So, billionaires have come under a lot of intense scrutiny over the past
3 weeks.
Well, 3 weeks, but even probably the last few months, really. Given that people have now realised what those 3 extra zeros mean, even on top of a millionaire, that it is quite a big jump, and they're coming under a lot of pressure to say. There was even a comment from one of our politicians, I think it was Jeremy Corbyn, wasn't it, who said that no billionaires should exist.
Mm-hmm.
And really, we just wanted to get to the bottom of what we think here at SwiftCase about that, and about obviously our business is geared towards entrepreneurs and people who want to be successful. But is there a difference between the millionaire that most of us are probably hoping to attain and the billionaire, which obviously don't let the unicorn type dream of many entrepreneurs? And is there a way that you can be a billionaire and still be socially responsible, and are they getting a bad rap?
Well, actually, like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are kind of wheeled out as the examples of the benevolent billionaires, aren't they? Because Warren Buffett came up with that foundation that makes people sign on to declare like a certain amount of their wealth to go to charity, like 90% or something before they die. And Bill Gates is well known for his philanthropy, but Bill Gates is still the richest man, even above Jeff Bezos now, isn't he? Despite so he's worth 119 billion, I think, like that, and Bezos is like 108, isn't he? So.
But that really annoys him.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So, well, actually, you're probably getting to the crux of why they continue to rapaciously get money, because of that kind of inherent competition that drives people no matter what, doesn't it?
Well, just on that, I saw an interesting, I can't remember who it was or whatever, but I think it was an American politician, but don't quote me on that. Yeah. They said something along the lines of, well, if we didn't have billionaires, what would we have to aim for?
Alright, really?
Yeah, which I thought was a bit...
Trillionaires.
Trillionaires, that's it. Well, yeah, that's how much they spend on military expenditure. Yeah. So,
I mean, my view, probably because I have got the mindset...
$1 billion.
No, I've got $1 billion. No, but I do strive for making it a successful business, and I would like it to be financially successful, and financial rewards, are part of the goal, because they help you to enjoy a life. Because I think what most rich people who I speak to say is, money is a tool that allows me to do things that I want to do. So it's not a figure as such that they're chasing.
Oh, absolutely.
It's freedom, isn't it? Yeah. It's the idea that if you're Bill Gates, there is pretty much, apart from being able to say, I don't want to die, there's no limit, really. I mean, someone went into space, didn't they? There's been a guy paid to go into space. Elon Musk is like shooting cars into space. You can, if you're a billionaire, you can do whatever you want. Yeah. It's the ultimate freedom. But also it comes with this scrutiny that you've got all this money and other people haven't. And that obviously has its own sort of drawbacks as well. It's like fame, I suppose. People want to be famous, but then the intense scrutiny of their personal lives once you achieve that fame,
it's not worth it.
It's maybe not potentially worth it.
Musk is only a billionaire, Bezos is only a billionaire because of the existing success of their businesses. So in essence, they're not truly free, because they still need to behave in a way that is becoming, that will not destroy their business. Yeah, don't they? So, if he cashed out of his business, sold all his shares, whatever, then he would he be a billionaire? He would, wouldn't he? Yeah. So he could actually have a billion, as many billions as he wants, but he chooses not to actually have that unless he's cashed out partially some of his shares or whatever, which I know Jeff Bezos has done. But the thing is, they don't earn a lot of money, as we're saying, in terms of a wage, do they?
They're not earners, are they? Their money is in assets and other,
which is used as a defence, and that's used as a defence against them carrying out like amazing acts of philanthropy. And
but if they wanted access to cash, they could get it, couldn't they? So that's I think that's more the point. Yeah. But I think going back to, I don't want to single out particular corporations, But if you look at how certain corporations made their money as compared to others, there is almost you can say from a moral point of view that actually Elon Musk was PayPal. PayPal just put a percentage on transaction fees. They didn't have loads of people working in a packaging factory who and loads of people who were delivering their products next day at a very low cost. That to allow them to have a particular business model and pricing structure that Amazon does. PayPal didn't take out a load of high street shops and force pressure on retailers to like lower their prices and reduce their markups like Amazon does. So you can kind of see that actually if you compare Elon Musk to Amazon and Bezos, they're not both the same type of billionaire, are they? One of them effectively, you could have come up with PayPal and with a small team and just kept buying server space. There's not really much else.
Exactly.
You're not really just scales because it's a volume industry. Whereas Amazon, there's a lot of like undercutting and various other things.
Tiny margins.
Tiny margins.
Like Uber.
Yeah.
Uber is part of the new class of business model.
Yeah.
Which at some point maybe Amazon was in, where they get a huge amounts of debt so that they can destroy competition.
Yeah.
And then after that,
but ultimately the people who work in the industry are being exploited.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whereas I don't think that is always the case for billionaires, is it? Like Microsoft's not that. Microsoft made software that just became ubiquitous in business systems that everyone had Microsoft. And although they got into antitrust situations with other software companies, but pretty much other software companies that were nearly as big as Microsoft in the first place. So I don't think they didn't exploit in the same way as they weren't like software developers earning £1.50 a line, a day.
I think the only exploitation was
lines
like
of code
using
or
existing software that was unspokenly being shared.
Yeah,
and then he kind of used the kernel to make that, didn't he? I think that's it. But that's not.
But
that's
not an exploit. I suppose that's not exploiting, is it? That's like I don't know. He used it. Opportunism, probably. Yeah, but I think there are different levels. Yeah. I just think there's different ways that people made those billions. That to say that everyone is a billionaire is somehow morally corrupt.
Has exploited someone.
And has exploited someone is not the case, and that's how it's being portrayed at the moment. That
I would say
if you've got a billionaire, then you should, because there was
not everyone's Mr. Burns.
Yeah, and a few years back they were talking about we should have this maximum salary. That was last elections thing. Yeah. We'll have this, or it was maximum pay, or this maximum. We put a max on someone's account. Yeah. Everything would still be relative, I think, and I don't think the idea that billionaires are somehow, evil, is the wrong concept. I think the idea should be that if there are billionaires, then yes, there shouldn't be anyone who's in poverty. That's right. Is a better example, rather than saying there shouldn't be billionaires.
We should destroy them.
But it would have to be a world thing, though, wouldn't it? Because surely you could just.
It's like if you increase tax in the UK, then it disincentivises investment, so people go to Monaco or whatever, isn't it? So you couldn't ever agree on a global thing because someone will always see an advantage to them.
There'll always be somewhere you can put it.
Well, like Ireland did, became a tax haven for Apple. Yeah. Because of, and so if everyone
Luxembourg did something
so
Google, didn't they?
So you couldn't actually do anything about it, really. I don't think it just raises the discussion, doesn't it? So
it's a moral issue, really, isn't it? Because morally, there's no reason why, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, who do invest lots of money into various charities. I know Bill Gates does a lot with like clean water and sanitation, does a lot with malaria.
It's this whole foundation they got,
there's no reason why they can't all do that. At the same time, it's nice to go and do those big high profile things, and to be fair to Bill Gates, he picked something like sanitation because no one else was doing it, because it wasn't seen as it's not the nice thing to talk about building toilets somewhere. I mean, I watched a program about Bill Gates, and he's like,
isn't it?
and he'd invested loads of money into building a toilet that worked well, because actually when you actually dig into these problems, there's no sewer systems. So you can't, if there's no sewer system, you can't just go, we'll buy you some toilets and put on, the toilets we have in our indoor houses and stick it in the middle of Africa.
Do you know what
there's no sewer system, there's no pipe network. You can't
Build
do
Gates.
that.
Gates. That's what I would have done if I was
So he spent loads of money investing in like creating these toilets that work and new technology that work in these places. So that was, that's good. And at the same time, though, there'll be people in America that can't afford healthcare.
Yeah. Or even clean water themselves, like in Flint.
But like,
So.
What do you know what I mean? And it's like those things get lost because that's a nice high profile.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he doesn't pay all his taxes and whatever else, but there's got to be something where, there must be a decent level that if you think that once you get to a certain point you want to give back, there should already be a decent level of starting level for
the general population.
The general population.
This is part of the arguments against billionaires, or like Elon Musk, is that they kind of control the argument towards what the future should be about. And like what Elon Musk is doing is he's saying the future should be about personal travel. Now, we can have much better rail infrastructure nationally, and then you wouldn't need a car so badly to travel across the country.
That went through a tunnel.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that. And who's that serving? That's
an example.
It's a. The example there, like, so for instance, it's Thanksgiving. Every year, Thanksgiving around this time in America, they show LA, the highway in LA. Everyone would go into it, and it's like a sea of like lights and slow moving traffic. And if you actually took all those people that are in the car and put them on trains, it'd probably only be a handful of trains. Where each one of those cars is one person in the car because they've sold this dream of liberty. It's literally this is what they bought the car for, to have to take the open highway and go home and see their loved ones. And really, the future of a very amazing, seamless liquid travel, where it's like, is available as long as it's part of, say, a public transport, if it's done properly.
Yeah,
right?
But you can, if you had higher capacity, you could still have the first class. You still have that experience, can't you? We just need higher capacity on our rail networks.
And he's kind of changing the narrative about what the future can be in that sense, and in a way he's damaging the potential for everyone to enjoy.
He has made the underground train network, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
With some cars on rails that go under tunnels.
Yeah. I mean,
it's called the London Underground, isn't it?
Yeah, just make that better.
Yeah, except it fits more than 4 people in it, or 5 people or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's a key point, and there's the same sort of concept as thing with what's getting at with Bill Gates, that they sort of drive that. I'm great because I'm investing in this, and they are.
Don't think too hard,
because they are, and it's like it is making a difference to those people, and it is worthwhile, and it's important. But at the same time,
it's part of a capitalist dystopia, because if you look at those programs we talked about the other day. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
But I really haven't got my time, and I just want to get this out. Was that part of America's thing is that it goes, we just found out that this person's working 3 jobs and he had to walk 20 miles to work so he could feed his family, so we bought him a car, right? Or you had this disastrous thing happen to you, and you've got no house or anything like that, and you've got all these medical bills, like saying so we got this company to build you a house, and part of those that media blitz convinces people that the system they're in is fine.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's okay, if anything bad happens to you, like billionaires will swoop in and rescue you, or a TV show will rescue you. Whereas there should be actually, like, people should be able to have free healthcare. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be like an extreme left-wing ideology for them, the communists, to say, well, actually, you know what, maybe everyone shouldn't be allowed to die or go bankrupt because you broke a leg or whatever. And the Bill Gates Foundation, things like that, is a way for him to market himself so as to prevent that while still accruing wealth and becoming you know what I mean? It's like,
but at the same time, I just want to go back, I think it was Rockefeller, so in defence of the billionaires, I think Rockefeller, I don't know whether he was even richer than any, in actual relative terms, he was the richest man in the world at the time, and actually far outweighs anyone who's today. He had he was giving a speech somewhere, I don't know, early 1900s or whenever it
before
was,
the crash,
30s, 20s, 30s. Some guy came in going, "You're so rich and we're all so poor," and blah blah blah. You should share out some of your wealth. So what he did was he asked his assistant to say, "How much money have I got then? What's the total that I own?" And the assistant came up with the figure, and he said, "And what's the world's population?"
And he goes,
and he goes, "Yeah, give the man $1." And like literally, if there is also this kind of idea that there's a utopia that if all the billionaires just gave away all their money in an equal share, everyone would be rich. They wouldn't. They might have a slightly better outcome, but the reality is that the money's just not there for everyone to. So people are smart. So this is like,
though, isn't it?
This is like what you said before about the politician, isn't it? That you do want some kind of goal of people like to be. They like to have this relative difference with their neighbours, and it's the difference that makes it.
That's always going to be
thing, rather than the absolute. If everyone earned £200,
if it wasn't money though, it'd be something else, wouldn't it?
If everyone was only on £200 a month, but you got 300, you would be rich. And no one would think you were rich on £300. Now, would they?
No, of course.
And it's that idea that the relative thing. And I think a lot of people get annoyed with the relative inequality, but actually, if everyone was equal, everyone wouldn't be rich. Everyone might be just a little tiny bit better off.
Exactly.
But then there'd be another sort of
that's kind of the
weird
issue with the family.
That
if you limit
caters for that, though, the caters for the competition.
So I think it's an easy answer. It's easy to slate the billionaires or the millionaires or those on 80,000.
Wouldn't he be happy with 50 million?
You say that, but if you're on 50k,
I know.
Wouldn't you be happy on 30?
Exactly.
You go, well, actually, when does that like?
Well, I suppose, but it's like, because in fact, if he's got 100 billion and I say you can have 50 million, we're talking about an incredible reduction. We're talking about 99% reduction in his value.
And how do you say that? But how do you work out which part of the value that he's created is suddenly worth less?
I suppose if it's all based on not like a suitcase of money.
Sure. Well, if he's like, let's go Elon Musk because it's easier. He's put 2% on fees, all the fees around the world, and you say to him, actually, you're only allowed to keep 50 million, not the rest of that. Why? What's the reasoning behind that figure?
Exactly.
And you kind of it's
what of his assets is worth less?
And how's it a public?
So
because if he pays all the taxes that are relevant, like if there's sales tax. Because he's making financial transactions, so in the UK that would be VAT, wouldn't it? You pay any financial transaction, it's kind of like VAT's on, and that kind of covers the framework that you've got for making those transactions. Like one of the roles of government is to have a legal framework so people can, trade and expect a certain level of rules, and that's paid for by tax. So if he's paid those, he's covered.
He's done it. He's done that.
The thing. And if he's not really employing loads of people who are on low skilled work, there's not. So that's what I'm saying. It's not always straightforward of where the exploitation is.
The exploitation is just the. All he's done is exploit the gap between what traditional systems were doing and the speed at which they can catch up to what technology is able to do. So isn't it? So it's like he's exploited this kind of what we call lag or like inertia. So.
If we had open banking, we wouldn't need that level of...
because it's taken them so long to get even like online banking with all the dinosaurs. He's just gone, well, as a new company, I can come in and do it without any... So that's always exploited. Really.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
It's a bit like in Superman 3 when Richard Pryor gets all the rounded up pennies. And then stores them all. I don't know if you remember that. It's like, that's the kind of exploitation that's happened. I think all he does is type list into a computer and it just lists a load of crap. And that's him hacking all the rounded up pennies off people's wages. But I think that's it. That's really in his sense. So I think you're right there. That's a difficult one.
So if you feel exploited by the billionaires in the world, or if you want to indeed be a billionaire, then please drop a comment below.
And I may not be a billionaire, but I'll tell you something I've done 1 billion times. Go to swiftcase.co.uk, our website where you can find out some of the things that we do. And check us out at SwiftCase UK on all the social medias.
And if you want to be around when we celebrate our 1 billionth podcast, please subscribe. Which will be sometime soon, I think.
With the breakdown, I think.
And you'll see more.
Okay, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you again next time on the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast.